Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Welcome to English Grade 8 video lecture series. I hope that you're doing great. I'm your instructor Zia Hamid. Students, today we are going to talk about transitional devices, words that we use in our sentences and paragraphs to link ideas. I hope that you are familiar with this. We will learn about comparison and contrast. So, the learning outcome says that examine and interpret the use of conjunctions and transitional devices in speech and writing to create the effect. Today, we are going to explore transitional words or devices, specifically of comparison when we are comparing something, or contrast when we are telling something opposite. But we want to connect these things together. Now, this will leave a very good effect on the reader or on the listener, because everything is connected and making sense because we are using transitional devices. Here is your vertical linkage, and for the brainstorming, students, you can pick any paragraph from the book and look at that. Can you spot any transitional devices or words that are linking different sentences or ideas or paragraphs together? Do this activity quickly. What words connect ideas or sentences together? Mark those words, note them down, and they will be your transitional devices. Let's see how many do you get them correctly. All right, let's talk about this is a paragraph, but we have not used any transitional words. Drawing is all about taking the time to master each step. Mastering the art of drawing doesn't happen in a day. It's a skill that takes daily practice. You need dedication to hone your craft. It's important not to burn yourself out. You need to stick with it. So this is a paragraph about some tips and techniques of drawing and achieving the drawing skills. Now here we have a paragraph, the same one, but with transition words. Let's see how we can spot it. Drawing is all about taking the time to master each step. In other words, mastering the art of drawing doesn't happen in a day. Furthermore, it's a skill that takes daily practice as well as dedication to hone your craft. It's important not to burn yourself out, but you need to stick with it. We have, in other words, this phrase which is serving as a transitional device, and also this word furthermore. Now, how does it function? When we say drawing is all about taking the time to master each step, mastering the art of drawing doesn't happen in a day. It means that these things are talking about the same idea, but we can say that in other words, we can say the same thing. And about furthermore, when we are saying that there is more to say, moreover, furthermore, it means we are extending the previous idea and giving more detail. So additionally, furthermore, in comparison, on the other hand, on the contrary, likewise, similarly, all these are transitional devices. Even your words like however, wherever, therefore, thus, all these are connecting different things in a paragraph. Now let's talk about transitional devices to show contrast. If we want to show contrast in our writing, in our ideas, and present some other idea on the opposite, we can use words like however, still, nevertheless, conversely, nonetheless, instead, and there are a lot of other words as well, etc. For example, although global life expectancy is expected to rise from 72.6 years to 77.1 years by 2050. Now, although is telling that we are going to talk about something in the contrary. Next example, the boy liked birds, but he was afraid of cats. Yes, the boy liked birds. But on the opposite, he was afraid of cats. But is our transitional word, which is also a conjunction of coordination. It is a coordinating conjunction as well. But it also works as a transition word. Now, let's talk about our words that show comparison. In comparison, we can use the word, the group of word in comparison, like, similarly, in the same way, etc. to showing comparison between two things. For example, caffeine is energizing. It can keep a person awake at night. Thus, or similarly. So, when we are comparing both things together, we can use thus and also for cause and effect. We can also use transitional devices or words for showing addition, for showing so many different things, but we can compare things together. She likes coffee, and similarly, he likes coffee. So, we are having a comparison, not a contrast. But using the words like but, however, instead, we can show contrast. Let's talk about some more words that are showing us contrast. So, for example, the printers are on strike. Nevertheless, students will receive course packages on time. So, even if the printers are on strike, that does not matter. Nevertheless, students will still receive course packages on time. Even though we have these 1 and 2 conditions, the situations that are opposite, but we use the word nevertheless to show that if something is not happened, the other thing will surely happen. Next one, it's really cold today. We cannot complain. Now, the writer is going to speak in the contrary, in opposition, by saying, however, we can't complain as it's been mild overall. So, however shows us contrast. Let's talk about some more examples. Kim and Tom have different tastes in music and food. However, even having differences and oppositions, however, they both like to dance or to read or something else. This is showing us contrast in their activities and habits. Kim and Tom have different tastes. Now, on the other hand, you can use on the other hand as well, and you can also use the word unlike as a contrast by saying, unlike dogs, cats are lap animals. It means they are different. We are showing a contrast and opposition between their natures. All right. These are all the transitional devices that we use for showing comparison. Now you can note them down. They are whereas, but, yet, on the other hand, however, and so on. Now you noticed that some conjunctions are also working as transitional devices or words, because conjunctions are also linking ideas and things together. For example, she actually enjoys confrontation, whereas I prefer quiet life. Now, confrontation and quiet life, these are opposites. They are not the same. So, for showing this, we use the word whereas. And you can say, I like pineapple, whereas she likes apples, or she like apples. So, this is showing us a contrast. For comparison, we have words like likewise, similarly. So, let's see. Math was hard for me in high school. Likewise, it is hard in college. Just like it was hard in high school, in the same way, likewise means in the same manner, in the same fashion, in the same way, it is hard in college. Houseplants require much care and attention. Can you figure out that why we are using similarly. Outdoor plants must be cared for properly. We are comparing actually house plants with outdoor plants. That's why we are drawing a comparison with the word similarly. Rock climbing takes much practice and skill. In the same way, learning to write well requires a great deal of practice. What are we comparing, dear students? Rock climbing, and we are comparing it with writing well. So when we are comparing the difficulty, the situation of both two things, we are using the word similarly or in the same way, likewise. So all these transitional words, there is a list of them. You can memorize them and note them down and try to use them in different sentences. Now students, there are a lot of purposes for transitional devices, but in this lecture we only talked about comparison and contrast. Now you have to stick with these two functions of transitional devices and create different sentences. Here is your classroom activity where you have to add suitable transitional devices or words in the blanks to complete this given paragraph. Online learning has both advantages and disadvantages. The benefits far outweigh the drawbacks. So, what word are you going to use for this situation? Is it for comparison or for contrast? Now this is up to you that how you can do this classroom activity. For the homework, you have to write 5 original sentences using different conjunctions and transitions to link ideas. You can use coordinating conjunctions, subordinating, and also correlative conjunctions, and you can also use transitional words for comparison and contrast. And you have to create 5 or you can even create 10 sentences by your own. Here is your simulation link, and now this one includes so many different MCQs that you can solve following the video. The worksheet is attached that talks about using the transitional devices and putting that in the right place. Here are the resources that you will get for practice. You will have a worksheet, a presentation, a lesson plan, and also, last but not the least, there is a skill sheet attached so that you can put your knowledge into practice. This is all about today's lecture, dear students. I hope that now you have understood the SLO and you are going to practice to achieve the mastery of using transitional devices. Till then, take care of yourselves and Allah Hafiz.